Dick Rogers, Common Good Party, on government generation research. In other words, research into how to generate electricity. I had a brilliant idea. I say it's brilliant. It might be rubbish, but I gave what I think is a significant idea to the government about how we can generate electricity in the future, and they sent me a polite letter back saying we basically don't do ideas. We can't. We don't have any mechanism whereby to take an idea on and develop it up and then have the intellectual property rights to the invention. And I'm not telling you what the idea is yet. I hope it'll be a household knowledge soon, but it isn't yet. So I gave the government these ideas, and they said basically they said we don't do ideas. We only let companies develop an idea which they think will be commercially viable, which they can then sell at a profit to the government. But I don't think that's the right way to do it. I think the government should do research, should sponsor research, maybe in the universities, but research that the government has ownership of, and which, when it's been worked up and found to work, does the public good, is owned by the public, is owned by our country as a whole, as a boon for our country. And I don't think we should leave it all to companies to develop. And most of those companies are based abroad. Not that I guess I've got anything against foreigners, but I don't see why we should let them research things and then have the intellectual property rights, and we have to pay through the nose to use them over the years. And only they know how to do it. Only they know the technology. How much better to do it ourselves? We know that we're going to need a lot of electricity, and that most of our generation capacity is coming to an end. Our power stations, nuclear and otherwise, are having to be closed down. And so it's something a bit like looking after the elderly people. We can see it coming. It's here actually, and we know that we've got to do it. So why don't we get our act together and do it together as a country, instead of depending on companies, most of which are from overseas, to both develop the research and also generate our electricity for us. You don't pay somebody to put your cornflakes into the bowl in the morning for you to have breakfast. But why should we as a nation pay somebody to generate our electricity for us, where we ought to be a decent country? We could do it ourselves. So let's do it ourselves. Both research, owning the intellectual property rights of the new technology, and actually generating the electricity. I think it makes sense. Ask your MP about it, and if the MP isn't interested, stand against your MP at the next election on that basis, that we should be getting our act together and generating our own electricity for ourselves and researching how to do it. Thanks.